I'm like, Pookie, man, these dudes are fucking each other in the ass, man. He goes, man, that happens in here. It happens every day, man. People got life. They're going to do that shit. And I go, that shit will never happen to me. I don't give a fuck. I said, they're going to have to rape my dead body, bro. All of a sudden, 5 dudes come running out. They grab me. Right? I can't move. One dude got my arm. Another dude got this arm. Another dude got my leg. Another dude got my leg. Pookie comes walking up and he goes,
what's going on, everybody? And thanks for tuning back in to another episode of Florida Prison Talk. We up in the northeastern part of the country for this one. I'm just gonna let my man introduce himself, man. Introduce yourself, bro.
man, they call me Bill Staxx, and I'm from Bristol, Connecticut, and I'm here to tell my story, man.
All right. So we're gonna get right into this. How much time did you do in the Department of Corrections altogether?
Altogether, about 5 years.
Okay. And briefly, speak about your background. How'd you come up? Your mother, father?
Yeah, born in Bristol in '79. My mother, my father left when she was pregnant with me. We grew up not having a lot of money, sleeping on my aunt's kitchen floor with the oven open for heat. I remember all that. Eating what we could eat, welfare stuff, getting block cheese and all that. We grew up not having a lot of money, so I gravitated towards the wrong people in the streets.
Okay, and what age did you start gravitating towards the wrong people?
Well, probably around 10 years old.
Wow. You jumped off the porch real early. So at 10 years old, was you doing any kind of drugs at that young age?
No.
When did the drugs start? What age? Like weed and stuff like that?
About 13.
Okay, about 13. And how about the neighborhood you grew up in? Was everybody the same as you? Welfare, was it the same for everybody in that neighborhood? Or did you guys stand out?
Pretty much. Well, the neighborhood where I lived, they called it the White Projects, right? And so there was another project right next to the projects I lived in, which was really bad projects. It was drug infested. It was shootings there, all kinds of shit. But the projects where I lived, there was the same stuff going on, but there was a couple more pale faces in the neighborhood.
Hold on, I'm gonna close this window. All right, that was good. Okay, so when did you catch your first charge going into the Department of Corrections?
Well, I caught a charge when I was 10 years old for arson. Damn. I threw the mats in the dumpster at school.
Okay.
And I got in big trouble for that. They brought me to the police department, questioning me, all that. And then I got into a little bit of trouble. After that, I threatened the janitor at school for something stupid happened. I was playing with the light switch and he told me to stop. I told him, man, don't tell me shit. I'll kill you. They had me arrested. That was in middle school. And then the first time I hit the Department of Corrections was I was 13 years old, and it was a stolen car. We got into a high-speed chase, crashed the car. I jumped out and ran with my co-defendant. I was young at the time. My co-defendant was 20-something. I ended up taking all the rap for everything because I knew I wouldn't go to prison. He would.
Okay.
So I took the blame for it, and I went to prison. I did 6 months the first time. I got out. I was on probation. And
okay. So how old was you that first time?
13.
And it was a juvenile facility, right?
Yeah, well, they brought me to Hartford Correctionals, which is an adult facility, but they have a YO block inside that prison. So they keep the juveniles in the same prison as the adults, but you just wear a different jumpsuit.
Okay. And how was that? Was it? I know at adolescence, man, all that testosterone, was it pretty violent for you? Was you getting a lot of fights?
It was bad. It was bad. But I was affiliated with 20 Love when I went to prison when I was 13. I was heavily involved with the gangs out here. I was running the streets. I was with like high-ranking gang members, and they all liked me. Like I was cool with all of them. So when I went to prison, I was still cool with these people. They recognized me from the streets, even though I wasn't from the big cities. They knew who I was at a young age. I was stealing cars. I was going to different towns in the state, like linking up with bad people, man. And when I was in prison, I used to rap and stuff. So the people liked me, and I didn't have too many problems. I got into a couple fights there, but it was all right the first time.
Okay. So when you was in juvenile, when you came out, did you get right back into the same stuff that led you there, or was you trying to change?
No, I went right back. First day out, I went and stole a car. I filled up the tank at a gas station. Back then, you didn't have to pay for the gas before. You could pay for it first. So I filled up the tank. I filled up the gas tank, and I used to just take off. And I didn't steal cars from if people were, leave their car running, go in the store. I wouldn't steal cars like that. I would go to, there was a church near where we used to hang out. It was a big ass building. And then back of the building, there was a church, and people used to store their cars in this parking lot. So I used to go in there, and you used to neck them with a screwdriver. We used to go for Jeep Cherokees and Buicks and stuff like that, cars like that.
Okay. And what age was you when you hit the big house, the big CDOC?
So now I was on probation. I did the 6 months for the stolen car. I get out. I'm on probation. My mother sends me up to New Hampshire to live with my grandmother. She was thinking that if she brings me up to New Hampshire, it's going to calm me down and get me away from the streets. I did not want to go. I went up to New Hampshire. I started causing trouble right away. I was like, I'm going to get the hell out of here as fast as possible. I want to go back and do what I was doing. So that's what I did. They brought me back to Bristol, and I went right back into it, stealing cars, doing crazy shit. And then I started getting involved with the guns. And I one night, my friend called me over to his house. I went over there. I was 17 years old at the time. I went to his house. He lived in these other projects in the town, across town. So I go to his house. He says, this kid owes me money. I want to go get it. I got this sawed-off shotgun with me. He's like, let me hold the gun so I can scare this dude and get the money. I said, okay. But if we get caught with this gun, you're taking the blame for it. I don't want to hear no shit. He agreed to it. I give him the gun. We go to the house. He knocks on the door. The lady opens the door. She sees the shotgun sticking out of his pocket. So she starts screaming, and he's trying to push the door open. So we're struggling. We're trying to push the door open. She's trying to close it, and there's a bunch of people trying to close the door, and they're all screaming. So the big struggle's happening for, it seems like forever, but it's a couple minutes.
Right.
They're screaming, call the cops, call the cops. I turn around, I go to leave the project doors, and the cops are pointing pistols at me. Get on the ground. I walk outside. I take off. I start running. My co-defendant running right with me. So we're running around the building. The cops are right on my ass. We get to my co-defendant's house. We go down the stairs. My co-defendant throws the gun behind the door. I run to the couch. I start stuffing shotgun shells in the couch, and the cops kick the door open and say, don't fucking move. Put your hands in the air. I put my hands up, and shotgun shells were falling out of my hands.
Damn.
So I got charged with hindering prosecution, burglary in the second degree, home invasion, conspiracy to commit burglary in the second degree. Did I say hindering prosecution? Yeah. Right. Possession of a sawed-off shotgun with the barrel and the stock sawed off, The serial numbers was another charge. It was a list of charge. It was insane. So I
You know,
get
real
her.
quick,
Yep.
my bad. If you guys listen and you heard what he just said, he said that his mother sent him to New Hampshire to do better. And like I said in the previous video, geographic location does not matter if you're not ready to change. You get what I'm saying? Geographic location does not matter if you are not ready to change. You can have a person that's addicted to crack, coke, whatever, and you can put them in Antarctica. They're going to find a crack or a coke dealer in Antarctica. That doesn't matter. But go ahead, man.
Yeah, it's true. So my bond is 10,000 at this time. I'm in jail. So now I'm 17. So I'm on the cusp of turning into an adult. And so that time I got bond. I'm in there. I still have a $10,000 bond. I stay in there for 30 days. And they put me in with the adults that time. So that time I felt I was on the verge of getting out the gang at this time, right? I was done with these people, these certain people. I had issues with a bunch of people in the organization, and I was ready to walk away. So I get by. Well, there's a good story I got here, right? So I'm in there and I see these boots that this kid has in jail, right? And I'm like, I want them fucking boots. So I get bond. I get out, I get the boots, right? My mother buys me the boots. And so I get back to stealing cars, right? I'm stealing cars. Now we have it was a stolen car ring type shit. We would steal cars. We would have 2 stolen cars. We would drive around the town and look for other cars to get. Okay. Now this girl gave me a key to steal a car, right? She gave me the key. So we already had a stolen car. So we were driving to the place to go get the car. It was a little sports car. I think it was a Fiero or something like that. It was a nice little car. And so I get to the car. I use the key. I get in the door. I close the door. I let my friend in the car. I lock the doors. And I look and there's a club on the car. I don't have the key for the club, right? So I take the club and I pull it and it pops right off the car. When that happens, the alarm goes off in the car. So the owner comes out. I'm sorry for cussing. I don't know if you can cuss on this channel.
It's all good. It's all good.
So the owner of the car comes out, starts pounding on the window. I'm in the car. I'm looking at him like, oh shit, I'm trying to get the car started, right? I'm like fiddling with the keys and like I got the lights on, but I can't get it because I'm all nervous and I'm trying to get it. And he's running around the car trying to get in. He's got his key, but I'm holding the door locked shut.
Right.
So, and this is a big fucking dude, and I'm only a young boy, right? So, he runs around to the other side of the car. I open the door and I start running. I'm running right towards the car with my friends that are waiting for us to get the other car. I got these boots on that my mother got me, right? So I'm running, it's like a slow motion dream when you're running from somebody. I look back, this guy is on my ass. He almost got me, man. Like almost got my shirt, right? So my friend, he had the door opened in the car and I jumped in like Superman right into the car. And I'm kicking my feet at the guy. He comes up to the car and I'm kicking at him. And he's trying to grab me. He fucking grabs my boot, right? And we take off. And I look in the rearview mirror. He's standing there with my boot.
Wow.
And these boots cost $250, man.
Wow.
And they're like a unique pair of boots, right? So he's standing with my boot like this in the middle of the road. And I'm just looking at him. And I got one boot on. And I'm like, fuck, I'm going to go to jail for this. I'm like, I'm going back to jail. And now I got the case pending for the shotgun charge. And I'm out doing this shit while I got this case pending.
Right.
So I threw the other boot away. And I'm going to court. My mother's like, where the boots? I don't know. I lost them. I left them at a friend's house,
Yeah.
So I never got in trouble for that car. That was well past the statute of limitations, so I ain't worried about it. But So I go to court. I'm still going to court for the gun charge. I end up pleading guilty. They give me 18 months in prison for the gun charge. They put 6 months on top of my 18 months for the stolen car, the violation of probation for stealing the car with the kid when I took all the charges. So I get 2 years in prison. This is 1997, I believe. 97 or 98. So I go into jail. They transfer me from Hartford Corrections to Little Cheshire. It's MYI. It's Manson Youth Institution in Cheshire, Connecticut. Very crazy place. A lot of dangerous kids in that place. People that killed their whole family. People that shot people. People that killed their little brother. And like all kinds of kids are in this place that are very bad. So I walk in. I go into number 6 cell on the left. There's three wings. It's a cell block.
Okay.
And I go into the cell and I hear these people saying, "We're gonna kill the white boy in 6 cell." And
hold
I'm
on,
like,
real quick. I'm sorry. That's what I was gonna ask you. What was the makeup of this place? Black or white? Who had the numbers?
black and Puerto Rican.
Okay, in Connecticut. This is in Connecticut?
Yeah, man.
Okay, go ahead. I'm listening. Wow.
Yeah. It's a lot of minorities in Connecticut. You'd be surprised. It's a lot of you think of Connecticut, you think of trees and insurance and the Charter Oak and all that. I think of gangs and shootings and murder.
Okay, that's what's up. Okay, so you go to the cell.
I go to the cell. They say we're gonna kill the white boy in 6 cells. So I'm scared at this time. Oh, let's wheel it back a little bit. Before I went to prison, I dropped out of the gang. I was involved. I was a member. The gang was 20 Love. I was a member for 2 years. I put in a lot of work. A lot of people know who I am. And the vice president thought that I was sleeping with his wife. So they lured me to a park. I got out of the car. They said, "We're going to meet these girls up here." I'm walking up this trail with these dudes, like 8 dudes. They turn around. One dude hits me, and the rest of them just rushed me to beat the shit out of me. Like pretty bad, man. They broke bones in my face, fractured my ribs. Like they almost killed me. I picked myself up and I walked home. And
why would he accuse you though? What did you guys would you guys talk a lot? Like why would he accuse you?
I liked this girl. Like ever since I was a kid, I had a little crush on her, but nothing was happening with her. It didn't happen. So
but if the opportunity came up, you probably would have did it though.
No, because when I was down with them, my brothers came first. I was about it. Like I did not violate laws, rules. I tried to stay on point, man. I got a couple bounces in my time in the gang. And if you don't know what that is, that's when you make a mistake. Say you're fight somebody and you're not supposed to be causing problems. That's unnecessary beef. So if you do that and there's a red light on shit, meaning no violence, they'll tell you, they have a meeting every week and they'll tell you, "We don't want any violence this week. Cut the shit." One time they told me that, and I ran into somebody from the other side and I went into a restaurant and I punched him in the face. And so they gave me a bounce for unnecessary beef on the next meeting. So when you get a bounce, they make you put your hands on the wall above your head like this, and you have a person on this side of you, person on this side of you, and they start the clock at 20 seconds, and they get to punch you in your ribs, your back, your stomach for 20 seconds. When you put your hands down, it starts over. The time starts over.
Man.
So now it's the severity of your punishment is how much time you're going to get on that clock. So it depends on what you do. That depends on how bad it's going to be. But you're going to walk away with a broke rib, piss and blood. You're going to be hurt.
Okay. So after they beat you up, you say you walk home?
No. So that I'm talking about a bounce. Those are just bounces, man. That's just if you do something wrong.
And after
So
that, when you
yeah,
was in there
yeah,
with the yeah, go ahead, go
yeah.
ahead, go ahead.
So they beat me up in the park that time. I got up, I walked home. Now after that, they were calling me because I had all the guns all the guns that the organization had. I had possession of them. I was the sergeant at arms. I would always, if people needed a gun, I would strap them up and we'd get the business. So what happened was the girl that I was accused of having sex with pulls up to my house. And I'm like, I'm thinking it's the setup. I'm ready to kill this bitch at this point, right? So I'm pointing a gun at her, and it's like right out the window. I'm pointing the gun at her, and I'm like, what do you want? She's like, I swear to God, I'm only here to talk to you. These guys want to talk to you because I had a lot of friends in the organization. I've been with them for years, and a lot of people like me, man. I'm a real dude. I don't play games. I keep it real, and that's it. So they knew they fucked up because it wasn't true, and they didn't verify the truth before they did all this. So the person that I was under that brought me into the organization calls me and says, listen, come here. We're having a meeting. It's a big meeting, and we need you here so we could get this whole situation resolved. They're not going to do shit to you. They're like, bring a gun if you want to. And if anything happens, you can just start shooting. And I said, okay, that sounds like a deal right there. So, okay. So I was scared to go, but I went. I go, and all the people that beat the shit out of me are there. I'm fucked up at this. I got a lumpy eye. I got fucking busted lip. My ribs are broken. I'm almost unrecognizable. So I come up to this meeting. They have the meeting, right? And I'm just sitting there, mad as hell. And I respect this dude for that because he stands up. The person I was under, he was a high-ranking member from Hartford. And if you don't know, there's different towns in Connecticut. So the main chapter is in Hartford, and then they branch off. They have different chapters in different towns. So it's pretty intricate if you get into it. But I mean, they were running it really good at one time, but shit fell apart. It was people not listening, people breaking the rules and just doing things they shouldn't be doing. So the guy I was under tells me, just come here, everything will be fine. He has the meeting. He says, everybody that was involved with the termination of Bill getting beat up in the park, I want all of you to step forward. All of them step forward, right? He says, all of you that step forward, stand over there and put your hands on the wall. And I'm like, holy shit, I was not expecting this, right? So he made all of them bounce each other, and he made them make it count. Like, and he let me pick who was gonna bounce who. And that's what happened. They all bounced each other. They were like, Bill, is everything good? And I said, yes, everything is good, but I'm walking away. This is it. I'm done. Like all the beef is done, but I still got problems with the people we were having problems with, you know?
Okay, got you.
So now, after I do this, I walk away from the gang. Now I have to go to prison in another month for the shotgun for 2 years. So I have gang tattoos and all that. I get them all covered up before I go to jail. And I go to jail. I'm 17. I go to Little Chester. They say we're gonna kill the white boy in 6L. So I start sharpening a toothbrush. I start sharpening it. I'm like, fuck that. I'm gonna kill somebody if they come at me, man. Because if you're scared, you're really dangerous. I think a scared person is more dangerous than a person that's not scared.
Because I think so too.
And I was scared, man. So they popped the door. I had the toothbrush in my hand. I walk out the cell. Nobody comes up to me. They don't do shit. And I'm like taken back by it. Like, what's going on? I'm thinking they're gonna rush me right when the shit pops. Nothing happened. So I'm like, okay. So we all go up, the door opens, you get your tray, and then you go to the seats. Now in this jail, Little Chester, the guards remove the seats inside the eating area so that when the people are getting their trays and they go to sit down. There's nowhere else to sit. So then it's causing problems among the inmates on who's going to sit where and who got ranked to do this. So that's where my problem started in that jail. I sat down and a black dude came up to me, big dude. He's like, get the fuck out of my seat. And I said, I'm not getting up. No, I'm not. No. Because these guys told me, don't back down. Whatever you do, don't back down. But they forgot to tell me, don't turn your back on somebody too, you know? So I told him, no, I'm not getting up. And I went to eating. And he hit me in the back of the head with his tray. So we start fighting in the mess hall. Everybody starts fighting. I go to SAG. I get out of SAG. I get into another fight. It's constant. It's like a cycle, fighting constantly. I don't have commissary, nothing. First 6 months, straight fighting. I didn't even have commie, nothing. I would eat the regular meals. I would fight. I'd go to SAG. I'd get out, fight, go to SAG. So I was doing this so much that the jail called my mother and they said, we got to do something because this kid is not going to stop. Like, we got to do something. We think we're going to try to give him a job in the jail. Maybe that calm him the fuck down. So they took me from SAG and brought me to C cottage. Now you go from A and B cottage, which is like, it's like the worst of the worst. There's barbed wire around the cell block. And these are cottages that you got to walk to go to your school. You got to walk to go to work. You got to walk to go to visits. You get to go outside, but they're jail cottages. They're like cell blocks in each cottage. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So you eat your food inside there. Everything happens inside there. You take a shower in there, everything. Your counselor's in there. So they moved me from SAG into C block, which is the worker block. So I'm going from the ghetto to Taj Mahal, man. And I'm like, wow, I didn't know they lived like this in prison. Like, I was taken back by like, wow, this is crazy. So everything starts going good. I'm getting involved. I'm like starting to work. I'm chilling with the fighting. I'm starting to get along with people. Things are changing for me. I'm starting to get comfortable. And I tell you a story. We were at I worked for the laundry, and I did the job where they had these name tags, and they had these gray jumpsuits that you wear at Little Chester. So I would iron. They had like this press thing that heats up that you iron these little name tags onto the things. So I that was my job. So I would do that one time. And this gang or this prison was filled with gang members. It was nothing but gangs from Bridgeport, Hartford, New Haven. But there was no people from Bristol, man. I'm from Bristol. Like I'm stuck in the middle. I have nowhere that's accepting me. You know what I mean?
Got you.
So I'm inside there. We're doing our the laundry, and I hear commotion inside the laundry room where we're all working. And these guys have a problem with this young kid that came in. I forgot what he did. He stole or something like that. So they go, Bill, go watch the door. And I know what this is about, you know? So I go and watch the door, right? And they take this kid, and he's trying not to let them bring him over to this place. But there's all these kids on him, and he has no choice. They bring him to my station where I press the things onto the thing.
Right.
They put his hand on there, and they pressed it on there for stealing, man. And they pressed it and locked it with his hand in it. Because like when you press it, you push it down and it locks. And then it starts heating up, and it melts this glue. So man, they put it on his hand, and then they locked it, and his hand started burning, man. He's screaming. And I'm watching the door, and I hear him screaming, and I see them they're holding him there. And all these guards just come rushing in, man, mace everybody, handcuffed everybody. Everybody lost their job. I go back to the cell block.
Everybody lost
chaos. Their job. Everybody, they fired everybody. They revamped the whole shit, man. Because I mean, we were getting things we weren't supposed to, and this year was non-contact. You didn't have contact visits. It
Let me
was
back it up real quick.
pretty
Let me back it up real quick.
okay.
Okay. What gangs did they have in there? What was the name of they had Latin Kings? What gangs did they have?
They had Latin Kings. They had Los Salitos was a big gang out there. They had Pump Nation, um Elm City Boys. They're from New Haven. They had Bloods in there. They had Crips in there. There was Aryan Brotherhoods. There
Damn.
was every gang you could think of was in there.
Okay. And you say you was fighting a lot.
A
Who were
lot.
these fights? These fights was with the blacks, whites, or both?
Everybody.
Everybody.
Anybody that came approach me fucked up, I was fighting. Anybody.
Okay. And was these fights all hands, or were they ever weapons, or they were all hands?
A couple of times they came at me with weapons, and I got poked one time, but there was nothing really major. I just got scraped with a knife in my back.
And you said that the people at the jail called your mother. So was you fighting more than the average inmate?
Yeah, I think yeah.
Okay.
So
All right.
my mother used to visit me every week when she could, because I got my visits taken away for fighting so much. But she was in contact with the prison. You know how moms do. They call up the governor. They want their baby out. They don't belong to be there. I belong to be there. I should have been there a long time before I was there. I deserved everything I got. I was a criminal, and that's what I got, man. But I think that these kids are treated way worse than they should be. It's a very bad place for kids. It turns kids' hearts cold.
That's what I was going to ask you. My next question: did you feel like that place made you more violent?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. And where do we leave up? Okay. So the kid's hand gets burnt. Yeah. Everybody gets fired. Let's go from there.
So they bring us back, right? I go back to my housing unit. A couple of weeks goes by. I order my TV. I get a TV. This is my first time getting a TV. I'm like 9 months into my bid now. I'm all excited. You know, it's TV. You're like, what? I got TV, man. I go in my cell, man. I'm setting it up. I put the channel, you know. I think it was Jerry Springer I was watching, some shit. I get on my top bunk and I'm watching TV. My cellie gets up, right? Changes the channel. I'm like, yo, what the fuck are you doing, bro? I'm watching that, bro. So I jump down, I change the channel back, and I jump back on my bed. He jumps down and he changes the channel back. And I'm like, bro, don't touch my fucking TV, man. So then we start getting into it over the TV, right? I jump down, change it back. He gets up off his bed. He goes to the door to check where the guard is. When he does that, I jumped off the toilet and I grabbed him by the neck. I start choking him, and I made him pass out. And he passed out, but he slammed me into the metal railing where the bunk, you know, the railing for the bunk, the second bunk.
Right.
So he slammed my back into that when he's trying to get me off his neck, and I'm choking him, make him fall out, right? And so he passes out, and I'm just holding him like that. He starts waking up. I'm like, you gonna stop? You gonna stop? And he's like, no, struggling around. Choked him again. Choked him out. Damn. I waited. I did that like 8-10 times. A lot, man. And until he said he would stop. And then so eventually the guard hears the commotion of us fighting. And we both go to SAG, right? So I'm back in B Cottage. That's the one with the barbed wire around it. That's like my home away from home. And they put him in the cell right across from me. Now the guard is there doing his count, right? And I'm talking to this dude through the window. There's like a little square window. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you touch my fucking TV, man? And I go, I thought me and you were right here, bro. And the guards seen me do this. They come rushing in, right? They grab me out the cell, handcuff me. They bring me to a room and they start interrogating me. SRG, Security Risk Group. So now they and it's crazy because they assessed me as a 20 Love gang member, which I was no longer a part of. and I dropped out of it. So now they assess me as a 20 Love gang member in prison. So now I'm like, my troubles are going from bad to worse, man. Now they come to my cell and say, you're getting transferred to adult prison.
Damn.
And you're going to the gang prison to get out the gang. Like it's a gang prison, meaning
like a debriefing?
Yeah, it's like even if you don't want to get out the gang, they try to force you to get out.
Okay, real quick. Before we go into the adult one, let me back it up, ask some questions.
Okay.
I'm trying to think, is Connecticut different? Do they have a lot of white boys and black gangs?
There is a lot of white dudes out here that that get it in, man. There's a lot of pussies out here too, though. You know,
okay.
a lot of wannabes. But I mean, the majority, man, there's a lot of mixed people in this state. You would be surprised. When you walk into prison, you don't see a lot of faces like mine, man.
Got you. Okay. And another one. Being that you dropped out of 20 Love, did that have a problem with you when you was before you got to the adult prison? Did you have any problems at the juvenile, the young prison, being that you dropped out of 20 Love? Did that bring you any problems?
A couple problems. I got into a couple fights over that, but a lot of the people that I knew, they were cool with me. It was from like school. I knew him from elementary school. I've known him for so long that, I mean, like we talked for 5 minutes and we're reminiscing about, okay, yeah, remember stealing that now and later's in the store, you know?
Yeah.
So, okay. Matter of fact, you want to hear something crazy?
Yeah.
One of my enemies that was in the other gang, I'm gonna interview him right after this interview.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, man.
Okay, that's tight. Okay, so boom, they accuse you of throwing the gang sign up across the cell. They tell you you're going to adult prison. Let's go from there.
Yep. So they send me to Gardner Correction Institution in Newtown, Connecticut. It's a gang block SRG unit. So, you know, on the cell block, how they have cells on the floor, stairs, cells on the top, right? So this prison had a general population dorm or a general population block. There was 2 of those. And then the rest of the blocks were all gang blocks. You had to wear a yellow jumpsuit when you were in there. If you were a very, very bad person, they would give you a red jumpsuit. Normally, if you were in SEG, they would give you a red jumpsuit. And that they knew if you were wearing red, that they needed to handcuff you when you left the cell and all that shit. And so they bring me there. The first 6 months, or no, the first 30 to 60 days, you're with the same gang member. The next 30 to 60 days, they put you with a rival gang member. It's pretty wild, man, the way they do this gang program. It's like they make you go in there with your own gang members so you can talk about what you're doing and all that. And then they put you in with a rival gang member so you can work your problems out. I guess. I don't know why they do that.
Right.
So now, by the time I get to this point in the program, they know I have nothing to do with the gang. They know. So they take me out of the gang program. They move me to regular general population. Now, regular general population in this prison are the lifers. They all have life. I was there with Michael Skakell. He's the one that killed Martha Moxley.
Right.
I was there with Crafts, Robert Crafts. He put his wife in the wood chipper. I was there with Giordano, the guy from Waterbury who got accused of paying a lady to have sex with her kids. Damn. I was with a lot of people that were doing life. I was with a guy named Pretty Ricky. He was doing life. JDL, he was doing life. Pookie, he was doing life. They were all doing life, man. And now by this time, I got about 6 months left on my sentence. So I'm scared in this place now, right? So they let me out the program, right? So they give me all my commissary. I got big bags too, you know, big boy shit. I got my TV and all that. They give me the carriage to push it. I'm pushing the carriage to my cell. They say, that's the cell, blah, blah, blah. I push the shit. I start putting my shit up. Bless you.
Thanks.
I start putting all my commissary up. I look out the door like this. Big, mean looking black dude like this. And I'm like, what's up? He goes, I want a bag of commissary at my cell by the time you done.
Damn.
And I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. He said, all right. And he walked away. Now, this dude got life. And I got 6 months left on my sentence, man. And I'm like, fuck am I going to do? I got a fucking problem. This is my first day there. So I get my bed all ready. You know, I put my commissary down, all this. They call me. Bill, you gotta go up and talk to the counselor, blah, blah, blah. So I go out my cell, go up, you know, you go up the stairs, you got to get locked in before, you know, it's like one door closes, you're locked in there.
Right.
I go in there, go to open the door. Who's in there? Pookie.
Damn.
The guy that told me to put the bag by his cell.
Damn.
Pookie's inside the corridor waiting for me, right? So I'm thinking, God damn, these COs are setting me up, man. I go up in there. He's just grilling me like, he's not saying nothing. I'm not saying nothing. So they unlock the other door. We start walking. You got to walk with your hands behind your back and your head down. So we're walking in line. They call us both to the same place, the kitchen. They call us into the kitchen. They interview us for a job. They hire both of us. I'm like, fuck, man, I don't even want this fucking job, man. I don't want to be around this guy. So guess what gang he's in?
What?
20 Love.
Wow.
Small world.
Damn.
So I get back to the cell block. And they call me the next day. I go back up in the corridor, locked in. Pookie's in there again. I'm like, fuck, man. Shit's coming. I know it's coming. I just don't know when. You know?
Right.
And I'm ready. I'm ready for it. I don't know. I'm thinking, I don't know if I should just pop off on this dude. Because I'm thinking if I pop off on him, he's going to kill me, man. Like,
right.
This guy is huge. Like, his arms were like fucking this big, man. Like,
yeah.
Crazy. I've never seen nothing like it, bro. So I go to the kitchen. We start working. Now, probably a week probably goes by. We're working constantly. You know, I'm by him. I'm next to him in the line. First I'm at the Scully, you know, the Scully where you put your tray.
Right.
That's where they start you off at. So now in this jail, they all wear red jumpsuits and they have to walk single file to the chow line, to the chow hall, every block, the gang blocks, general population. They have to walk single file to the chow hall. And they can't talk. And they have to sit down as assigned. You can't just sit where you want. It's not like Little Cheshire where, you know, there's a problem over the seats. They make you sit where they want. And that's probably a good thing because it stops all the problems with the seating arrangements, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm in there working. And eventually I start talking to Pookie. We start kicking it, right? And we start being cool. We're cool. Everything's like clicking. We're like talking. And I tell him a little bit about my background, everything. And he likes me, man. Like we start hanging out. He's like, you want to cook with me tonight? Blah, blah, blah. So I start cooking with him every night. I start, you know what I mean? We start building a relationship. We start becoming friends.
Right.
So about maybe 4 months goes by. I'm in there and I go to the kitchen. Me and Pookie are cool by now, right? So we're walking down there talking. We're just kicking it. And I'm getting cocky by this time because I'm used to being there now. I'm like, you know, I'm getting cocky. I got this, you know, right. I'm a bad motherfucker. So I was walking by a cell one day in the cell block, and this is crazy. I'm walking by a cell to go take a shower. I look like this in a cell. I see a dude fucking another dude in the ass, man.
Damn.
Yeah, man. So I'm walking, right? I'm going to work. I go to take a shower, blah, blah, blah. I go to work the next day. I talk to Pookie. I'm like, Pookie, man. I walk by the cell, see this dude fucking another dude in the ass, man. What the fuck is going on here, bro? I didn't know that things like that go on because I'm young. I don't know, you know?
Right.
People aren't schooling me to everything that goes on. They school me to a lot, but not everything. You know, don't
Right.
keep your mouth shut, fight back, do all the, you know, mind your business. They told me all that shit, but they didn't tell me people were fucking each other in the ass.
Right.
So I go to work. I'm like, Pookie, man, these dudes are fucking each other in the ass, man. He goes, man, that happens in here. It happens every day, man. People got life. They're going to do that shit. And I go, that shit will never happen to me. I don't give a fuck. I said, they're going to have to rape my dead body, bro. All of a sudden, 5 dudes come running out. They grab me, right? I can't move. One dude got my arm. Another dude got this arm. Another dude got my leg. Another dude got my leg. Pookie comes walking up and he goes, still think it can't happen? And I go, yeah, it can happen. It can happen.
Damn.
And they let me go. And that was that. And I was like, wow, man, that was a fucking lesson learned right there.
Right, right. That's crazy, man. I'm gonna have to say the rest. This gonna be part 1, man. We're gonna have to finish off on that one.
Yeah, man.
Part 2 tomorrow, man. Story.
I got a lot more, man. A lot more.
Crazy, man. Man.
Yeah, man.
Well, that's fine. I appreciate you, man. That's crazy though, man. That's a crazy ending for part 1.
Yeah.
Dang. So listen, Pookie was black, right?
Yes, sir.
You say he was 20 Love, right?
Yes,
so
sir.
20 Love is a mixed gang also. You guys got black and whites in there.
Now they do. So 20 Love was formed in the 60s and the 70s in Connecticut prison. They were a black prison gang. The reason that they formed was to fight against the oppressed in there. You know, there was white people. They would come and beat up white people and take their shit and do that. So when these people started getting out of prison in the 70s, 80s, 90s, they started accepting all races into their gang.
Okay.
I mean, I could send you some information on them. It's a pretty crazy organization. Their colors are green and black. They have a handshake. They have bylaws. They have everything, man. It's an organization.
We'll definitely talk about that in part 2. Let them know your page, man, what you got going on and the stuff you've been doing lately, who shows you've been on and stuff. Go ahead and talk to them.
Yeah, so my show is called the Hootie and Staxx Show. It's on YouTube. It's HOOTIE and Staxx STAXX show. And my co-host is an ex-Gambino crew member, and he walked away from the life. I walked away from the gang life, and we're telling stories back and forth about things we've been through. You know, how the organizations are ran, how organized crime works in the 2000s, back in the day, everything. We get it all. And we're trying to help kids, to keep kids out of gangs and keep kids from going into that lifestyle. And we went on Vlad TV yesterday. We have a lot of big things going, and it's only looking up from here, man.
Got you. Easy win. Florida Prison Talk. We out of here. We will see y'all for part 2. Peace.